how does it feel to be here at MCM Comic Con meeting all of your London fans?
Awesome. Very exciting.
Yeah, they're all really nice. Everybody we've met has been really nice.
This is like my favorite city in the world and my, I guess, second time at London Expo, but it's my favorite trip of the year by far, so it's good to be back.
And when you do get a chance to meet fans, what are the most common questions you get asked about the show, about your characters?
That's actually funny to me that you really do get asked like the same questions over and over. I get, when is Big Jim gonna die a lot? I got, oh my god, I can't even tell you how many times I got who is the fourth hand when that was all in question. Basically just like character questions, normal stuff.
Why is Melanie all over every guy? That's my main one that I get.
And is there an answer to that one?
She's making up for lost time.
My main one is, where are you? Where have you been? And what kind of mom are you that you let Nori just go about the world, and where are you? And I'm like, she's always been an independent kid.
And I guess, obviously, there's a huge fan base for the show all around the world. Why do you think the show has had that impact? Why do you think people have connected with the series so much?
I think because there are all these different characters and that people can see themselves in, and there's a situation that's applicable and attachable for anyone, anywhere. If you're put in a scenario where you can't find your way out, anybody can pretty much connect to that kind of scenario and find themselves, trying to figure it out with everyone else in the cast and kind of see themselves peeling away and getting frustrated in the situation and falling in love in the situation and coming up with bright ideas that maybe are not so bright ideas in the situation, so I think there's that element of it.
I think it's definitely different, and that's why it's intriguing to people. I also think we have a lot of names that are attached to it that grab attention. Jack Bender, Dean Norris, Stephen King. I think a lot of our fan base, began with people saying, oh, Stephen King, like, I love Stephen King, because who doesn't? And I think they kind of saw, well, here's his next adaptation, and it was different that it was going to be on TV as like a regular series, and so it was cool to kind of have him on board, and I think that really has benefited us as a cast and as a show, so, yeah.
What have been the favourite moments for your characters in the latest season of the show?
In the second season?
Yeah, and why?
I love when I get to fight with Mackenzie. It's so fun because we're like best friends in real life, so to get to pretend to fight with each other, it
was kind of hard, not gonna lie. Like, I thought I was like, it was not easy. Because I would look at her and try and be mad at her, and it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, because you guys, it's finished. Our season 2 is finished in the U.S., so I'm trying to think of where you guys are at right now, because there's a lot of stuff in the finale for Nori that was some of my favorite stuff to do. I'm wondering, there was one scene where I got to do a stunt, where I almost fall off a cliff. There was a scene where I got to do a stunt, and so I kind of got to work with our stunt team a little more than usual, and like I love doing stuff like that, so that was fun.
I think the finale was a special episode. It was so much fun, and anytime that you can get most of the cast together, working together, like on the same day or during the same week, kind of all shooting together, and the scenarios are so intense, but yet between each take, it's like the funniest moments in life, and then it's like action, and we're looking at this big wall of nothingness, but yet it's like the most intense moment of our life, because it's like, are we gonna make it into freedom, or is this gonna be over, or are we just looking at a piece of tape on a camera?
I mean, how shocking for you was that finale, and where would you like to see it go after that?
I mean, being in Chester's Mill this long, I'm sure we would love to go anywhere. Anywhere. If we can get across the street from Chester's Mill, we'll be happy.
In that case, would you like, it's perhaps more of a comical question, would you like to have your own spin-off show called Outside the Dome?
Oh my god.
And if you did, what would you like your story to be?
It's pretty
if you
funny.
could have your own little spin-off, even if it's just a one-off episode adventure.
I know.
It would be Project Runway, except for I would be the only judge, and Nori would judge all of the Chester's Millers. and Melanie and Carolyn would win, and Joe and Big Jim would lose.
I would be a model for sure on that because Carolyn by far has some of the most boring clothing on the show.
What would you like to see happen in the season after season 2, season 3?
There are so many different ways that they could go with it. So for me personally, I think it would be really cool to see just where everyone has gone through so much being under the dome. I think it's interesting to see like the aftermath of all the trauma that everyone goes through, but kind of what that does to people. I think that would be interesting to see.
Oh my God! Tell the story about the shoes.
The man, the mystery, the shoes,
Remember
or the gym,
tell the
or
gym.
the fish fillet.
Now that you mention it, tell it all.
You create this image of Steve. At least I did. You read these books and you create this image of
Horrifying.
this amazing sort of iconic author in your mind, and and you attach all of these amazing, profound characteristics to this person, and then you meet the person and you spend the day with them. Literally at the end of I remember one shooting day, he was driving home with transportation and he was like, "Can we pull into McDonald's? I just want a fish fillet meal." And it's like, you eat fish fillet? It's like you're Stephen King.
No, and the first time I met him, I was with Aisha. It was the first time I'd met Aisha too, and we walked out and I was like, "Oh my God, it's him." Okay, pull it together. It's fine. We'll just meet him. It's good. And I walked out and he looks at me and he goes, "I like your slippers." And I had pink ballet flats on, and I was just like, oh, thanks.
Oh my God. And the best one, he was the one woman who played my wife. She was working out incessantly every morning in the gym, and we were all gym rats, in the beginning of the production. And so he too was in the gym. And so he was in the gym one day, and then the next day we didn't see him in the gym. And so we saw him on set and we were like, "Hey, so you weren't in the gym," just making, some chat. "So you weren't in the gym today?" And he was like, "Oh no, I was down there. So I was like, "So what did you do?" He was like, "I did the treadmill a little bit." And I was like, "Did you lift some weights?" And he was like, "Oh, homie don't lift weights." And I was like, "Stephen King, did you just say homie don't lift weights?" And at that moment, I was like, Stephen is truly the homie.
Oh, he's also been known to say homie don't tweet. That was another one. I think that's his thing.
Yeah. So yeah, this amazing, profound, prolific writer is pretty down to earth and pretty funny.
Hysterical.
So we had some breaking news last time you guys were here with Under the Dome, and you announced that Stephen King was going to write the first episode for season 2.
Yes.
Can we expect something similar for season 3? Have you come back with a similar plan?
It's very new. At that point, we had been renewed since we had been shooting. We got renewed during the shooting process of the finale of season 1. And this year, it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe, that we just got the official pickup. So a lot of things are still in the works, but he's been very involved season 1 and season 2. So I think, we're hopeful. He'll still be around, of course, and but as far as writing an episode, we don't know yet.
I guess, obviously you're talking about Stephen, he's a fantastic character. I'm curious, apart from your own, who are each of your favourite characters on the show?
Oh, God.
Big Jim, because I love Dean Norris. One of the first times we talked, I was actually crying. He probably thinks I'm a freak. I love him. So, Big Jim, for sure.
This is kind of out of the ordinary. I really liked Dwight Yoakam's character.
Oh.
Because I grew up and I watched the movie Sling Blade with my dad. And I remember being like, he's great. He's so good. And then he came on our show, and there hasn't been few times where during a scene I have just not been able to hold it together because I'm just hysterically laughing. And there were several times I just couldn't do it. And he does such a phenomenal job as Lyle. And I just thought his character was very intriguing. So, I don't know. I was very interested anytime he had scenes.
He is awesome. I might be biased, but one of my favorite characters is Nori. I think she has the best dialogue ever under the dome. Like anything she says, you're always like, and then I'm like, oh God, I'm responsible for having raised her, but she has the best scenes. Like anything she says, you know that it could be really left field. And so it adds a humor under the dome that I think is necessary, and such a stinkness that just tickles me.
What are your favorite Nori lines then?
Oh my God. What was that one? We were all in the house watching that day. And you were by the locker.
With Grace?
Yes.
Oh
my God.
Is this the safe cracker line?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
a magician?
Are you
psychic?
Are you a magician?
Are you
safe cracker? Oh my
like
gosh.
she opens the locker and she's like,
That whole speech, first of all, we were excited for that episode because we knew it was going to be the one where, like, it went down because she was, like, moving in on Joe and, like, so we had a feeling it was, like, coming. So I remember opening that page, like, this is it. And, like, I saw it, I was like, oh my God. So fun.
I mean, obviously, it's a really fun set. I'm curious, I mean, you mentioned, like, some of the experiences you've had with Stephen. In terms of filming, what have been the funniest stuff that's happened? I mean, you're going already.
The Neosporin thing with Dwight.
Oh my God, were you there?
no.
Oh my God. Okay, tell that story.
Well, Dwight, he will just add in random things that are so funny.
And they're not scripted.
I don't know. You tell it, because I was being passed out.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So there's a scene basically where Melanie is sick and we're all like literally every single person is like on the way somewhere. And so we walk through the school and we're walking through the hallway and Lyle is standing on the corner like just like standing there, and he had a scripted line that was, "It's a great day to do something wonderful." That was scripted. But it was like a medical center. The high school gets turned into a medical center, and he had some Neosporin.
Like
and
he
so,
just grabbed it off of a table or something.
yeah, like
there's no
it was his
reason.
prop. And so Dean's line in response to that was, "Don't touch my family." And so he walks by and he goes, we're all walking by and he goes, "It's a great day to do something wonderful." And Dean goes, "Don't touch my family." And he goes, "Neosporin." And we were just like, oh my God. And like they went back and forth for a minute, and by the time they like finally had to tell him to stop. I don't know. A lot of stuff happens on set that's funny, but I feel like half of it is only funny because we're all like deliriously tired of the day. So a lot of times it doesn't seem funny to other people, but it really is funny. So.
Yeah. Or like
There's one time she dropped her salami. There's like they bring trays around, and then she thought the camera was going to be on her. And so I like all of a sudden just hear like a slap, and she just like threw her salami on the ground because she thought it was going to be in the shot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was a time whenever Alex, the guy who plays Junior, we had a scene together, and they were getting just his coverage, and so I was like not in the shot or anything, but I was still there delivering my lines to, help his performance. And so I'm supposed to walk out of the scene, but there were all these crew guys, so I couldn't move. But I thought, okay, well, I'm supposed to leave the scene right now, so if he can't see me, then that'll help his performance. It'll make it more like it's real. But I couldn't move, so I said my last line was like, "Okay, bye." So I go, "Okay, bye." She just like he like holds it together, and then as soon as they say cut, he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." So funny.
That's method acting right there.
Right. Bye. Yeah. I take it very seriously.
Okay, on the show, the big mystery is what is the egg and where did the dome come from? Do you have your own personal concept or idea of what it is?
God.
That's a big question.
Yeah, you kind of go through so many machinations and trying to figure it out. Like I remember the first year, like I was like, "Oh, I got this. This is spiritual. This is like an analogy for spirituality." And I was like, "Oh, that doesn't stand up. Okay, I got this. This is science. It's all science. This is an analogy for science." And I was like, "Oh, that kind of doesn't stand up either." And so now it's just like I've given up. I'm trying to have theories. I'm like, I'm just waiting for it. Like, explain this to me.
And like season 2, Grace and I, and we get, honestly, it's kind of similar to how you guys watch it. You watch it every week. We'd get a new script every week. So it's sort of like we were watching it, but obviously not. But literally we'd get a script and I'd call Grace or Grace would call me, and we'd be on the phone for 2 hours being like, "Well, I think by this they're trying to like lead up to like like Big Jim and Nori getting together. Like, it would go we'd talk for so long, then it'd be like, what am I even saying? That's ridiculous. Like, that's not happening. But sometimes people don't realize is when we get the scripts, we are trying so hard to figure out where everything is going that by the time people are like, what do you think it is? We're just like, beats me. I don't know.
It's so funny because you have conversations with the creators and the writers and you're like, yeah, but like, that butterflies mean this, right? And they're like, sure, why not? And I'm like, but wait, but the dome, like it's sort of reminiscent of, and they're like, yeah, we haven't quite, we haven't committed to that yet. And I'm like, well, what have we committed to? Because
third series.
What do we know?
Right.
I mean, have the writers given you confidence that they know, what it is? I mean, do you get that?
I think they know what the end is. I think they definitely know what. Yeah.
But that's what I think is another thing about our show that because a lot of times shows have outlines for seasons and seasons and seasons, and so they know pretty much what they're going to do. I think our team of writers and our team of creators is really going off of partially what the audience thinks, partially what they end up just coming up with, and that's why I think first season and second season have been so successful. Is it's just ideas that people just are like, where did that come from at all? And so I think they know, but I think they're going to keep it to themselves until they know.
So does it help? Because, like you said, you get your script once a week, then you're learning as you go along. Does it help as an actor not knowing what's happening, how to portray that character? Because in real life, you wouldn't know what's going on. You wouldn't put stories out for yourself. Yeah. How does it help you not knowing what's happening? How does it make it work for you, kind of being in the dark?
Because, like you say, in real life, you don't really know what's going to happen. So it sort of makes your reactions to the situation a little bit more organic, I think. And then you're able to have the genuine confusion about a situation and come up with genuine feelings and reactions to the situation, sort of more in the moment for what's happening, as opposed to having all of this information. And the worst thing we can do as actors is overthink and plan. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to do here is touch my neck.
Has there been a storyline where you've been extremely confused in one episode by what the script had said, and then when you got to the conclusion of what that might have been like, I never even thought that would have happened whatsoever? Has it been for any of you a story like that?
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
I thought I had it all figured out, and then it turned around to be like, no, that's not what's happening here.
There's a character, I don't know if you guys have met him yet over in the UK, but some of you obviously have, Hunter, that's played by Max Eric. I remember reading his character and thinking one thing, and then as the scripts progressed, thinking another, and then really realizing what he actually was, and now I'm kind of just scared to commit to that because it's probably not right either, so...